Good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde, and it's another edition of this morning. It's Thursday, not Tuesday, the 7th of December. Every time I have to remind our viewers that we are going towards Christmas, and in advance to all our Christian, neighbors. I mean, it's important for us to recognize that the Christmas is coming, and it's a very important feast, in the Christian religion. And we have the likes of Eliza Saba Mendy here. Demba Eliza daf mane balde yonel guru suñ kër, Then we have the likes of Therese, and we have a lot of them. Edu, Edu, Christmas is a kirla.
What do I wish Edu Christmas, happy Christmas.
Wow, Keba, Mr. Cole.
Yeah.
Mr. Cole, why Mr. Cole mom hamga mom balanga dem kiram. Mune wane boy man akula sumala program si suma affaire do si boga. Yeah, so on the program I have Julde. Julde, good morning.
Good morning, Valde.
Julde, where have you been?
I've been around, doing other tasks. But it's good to be here. Good morning to you. Good morning to Mr. Ka and to our viewers. It's always good to be back.
Yeah. And our consistent newspaper review guest, Mr. Malika. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. It's a pleasure to join you, as always.
Yeah.
Been kidnapped, I'm going through this flu, it's a flu season now.
Yeah.
So I apologize, the way I sound.
Yeah, we can even detect that from the tone of your voice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it is. Yeah. So on the program, we will be looking at the African proverb as usual, then do the newspaper review. We have few things to talk about. 16 days of activism, and I think Julde was there,
yes.
And you covered that program, and you know what actually it means, So we will be talking to Executive Director of Paradise Foundation, Aisha Balde. She will be here. Then we will also be talking to a team from Axbajan. They will also be here to talk about this activism day, the 16 days. Then we will be looking at the click segment as well. It's important. Churchill Balde will be here. So, Julde, I'm finding it a bit difficult to access my African proverb. Can you do that for us?
So, our African proverb this morning is, you know who you love, but you can't know who loves you. You know who you love, but you can't know who loves you. That's an interesting proverb.
Yeah, so on that note, Mr. Khan?
Well, that means you cannot read somebody else's mind. Inside you, you know how you feel about people, about things, but you can relate to people, but you don't know inwardly what they think and how they assess you or how they judge you, because that is very innate. And, behavior is inside. Unless it is exhibited outwardly, you cannot tell. So that is something, is kind of a judgment call based on the person's perception of you. You can also have a perception of that individual, but the person may not know how really, honestly, genuinely you think about the person.
Absolutely.
You can, like, in the case of, remember the play of Julius Caesar, when Brutus stabbed the knife and Caesar was shocked and surprised when he turned around and saw that his closest friend, the person he trusted, and he said, "Etu Brutus."
Oh.
That is where the term came, "Etu Brutus." And you also, Brutus, are part of the conspirators. So he was surprised. So people can conspire against you because they have a notion and think of you when you don't know what they think about you.
Yeah. The man said, it wasn't the knife that killed me, but when I turned around and saw who stabbed me, that's the point.
That is what kills me.
That killed me.
The person who stabbed me is the one who killed me, really,
God.
because it was really unexpected from the person. And oftentimes, you're not stabbed by people that, you think that they do. You're stabbed by your loved ones, people that are so dear to you. I mean, someone who is your enemy, it's obvious that, you can expect anything from that person. But people who are so dear to you, people that you love so much, you never expect that they will stab you that deep. So that is why it's important for people really to be careful of, especially people who say that, okay, I love you. Be careful of those people. Those that I prefer, okay, man, I'll hate you. And you show me plainly that you hate me than, a friend who pretends, an enemy who pretends to be a friend, because that person is very dangerous. Because that person can stab you. That person knows a lot about you. That is why it's important for people to be careful. Don't just be taken away by people who tell you that I love you. Until when? For me, like, if you say you love me, what comes to my mind, the first thing is, until when can you love me? Are you going to love me for eternity, or are you just going to love me because you need something from me? So that is why people should be careful of the people who say that they love them. Love can come in different forms and types. People can love you because you're nice. People can love you because they need something from you. When that thing is over, the love is over. Or when they did not come to see that thing from you, that's the end of your love and friendship. That is why it's important for people to be cautious, to safeguard their mental health. How can you safeguard your mental health? It's to be careful of the people, especially who say they love you, and the things that you share with them. Because only people who can harm you, it's the people who love you and who know how to harm you.
Yeah, but they say actions are bought by intentions. But people can genuinely say they love you and they love you. So
Yeah,
you must not.
that happens.
What we say is, you know, what the people do practically is what you judge people by, in terms of what they do, how they behave towards you. That is the judgment call that you can make.
Absolutely.
So anything that is sincere and genuine is very easy to find. Sometimes it's concealed by people who are devious. They can be very cunning, very planning in terms of before they execute what they do. But once it's executed, you can know where this person stands in relation to you. So, but be open and be genuine to people that say they love you until you can establish one way or the other that.
Absolutely.
Rather than being cynical in terms of, you know.
There are people who don't express how they love a person, or they don't express how they feel about the person, but deep inside, I mean, they have 100% guarantee that this person, I have a mutual love for this person, no matter what. And you won't know it until when you are in trouble. That's the time you tend to realize, wow, actually this guy doesn't talk, but he have this for me, or she have this for me. You know, so I think it depends. Sometimes the word I love you or I love you, you know, can be used in many ways. Some people might abuse it, some people might be genuine. So that
I
is
think
why
it has become a cliche now, really. Just like what you said, I totally agree with both of you. You know, it's good that you have an open mind, like Mr. K said, especially with people around you. You know, I mean, it frees you from a lot of things. But also, it's good to be careful, you know, of the things that people say to you. Don't just take everything for everything. Don't just believe whatever people tell you. You know, always have that open mind, but also know that, okay, there is, you know, action B or plan B to everything. There is another motive to everything beside what is being said. So it's good that people are careful.
What Julde is saying essentially is don't be naive and gullible.
Absolutely.
So be very guarded at all times. But also be open-minded in terms of your relation and interaction with other people. Do not put a barrier and judge people. Sometimes they may come across as people that don't like you, and genuinely, like you said, they're really very sincere and do. So be open-minded until you have something that you can bank on to say that this person have other ideas.
All right, thank you very much, Julde and Mr. K. I think that's genuine.
It was really interesting.
Yes, it was really interesting.
No,
you know,
Mr. K, it's
you know,
good that we all share the platform.
Love is everything. You know, whenever you talk about love, you tend to feel that environment whereby everybody tend to agree on to certain things. So we'll take a short break. After the break, then the newspaper review. We'll be back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected, juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
We are back, and this is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Now let's head on to our newspapers. I'm a fuller man. I don't understand tablets. It's giving me a little trouble, but we'll still manage. Julde, take us through some of the papers.
Don't allow the jollers and the serious to laugh at us. I know. So I have the photo here with me, the Point and the Standard newspaper. The main headline on the photo here newspaper is "Police arrest 24 Birkama area councillors."
Yeah, we delved into that yesterday.
Yes. We even had the PRO.
PRO here. Okay, so we will go straight to the Point newspaper. GRA to collect $19 billion in revenue in 2024. So I think
they more efficient because they put in place a lot of digital kind of collection or system that is really yielding results. So it means government have the latitude to invest in the areas, particularly with the heavy infrastructure that they're emphasizing now. So they will have sufficient funds for some of those, especially road. These are things that are needed. So, well, it's bravo to GRA for being able to increase every year their collection, which is becoming more and more efficient.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the system, I mean, now things are evolving, like it's moving, things are changing. People are digitalizing, the way they work, the way they do their things. So for a long time, we all know GRA, when it comes to revenue collection in the Gambia, I mean, they play a vital role. If not, they collect most of the revenues that we use, as a nation. So digitalizing certain platforms, I mean, to avoid fraud and, people, getting into other things that will hamper their collections. I mean, I think it's important. I've seen several stories on GRA digitalizing, trying to do certain things, workshops, capacity building. I think it's a good one.
It is.
It's a combination. Capacity building, they have been emphasizing on that as well, which means they are training their people so that they can be very effective and then have the knowledge and the idea as to what they. So I think Yankuba is doing a great job at GRA. We have to really acknowledge that. Because when people are performing also, you have to give them the thumbs up so that other institutions can emulate him and perform, because there are non-performing institutions and the state-owned enterprises. So he's a clear example that people ought to look at and follow. Even though I know his task in more instances than many is easier because it's just collection. But even with collection, you have to have a mechanism whereby you can avoid a lot of leakages and also inefficiencies. And he's showing that leadership. So I hope others also take that cue from him and then follow suit.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very important for the fact that Gambia is a tax-based economy. It's very important for really our taxes to go in the right place to avoid leakages, and digitalization of the tax or revenue collection is very important. It will really avert a lot of those things, and we can do it as a country really, even though we are a tax-based economy and we don't have the mineral resources like other African countries, but also with the little that we are able to collect from our taxes, we can, be able to develop this country. We just have to minimize, wastage and, leakages that are really going. And digitalization is another effective way of, making sure that is possible.
Absolutely. And we have a message. I mean, people are part of this program. According to, they said their website is built by a Gambian company called Forte Innovations, which help protect public from fraud.
Okay.
So I think that's also important. We are stepping up as Gambians. If you look at the technology sector, I think we are becoming more and more proactive, getting more understanding on what it means. So it's a good one too, Julia.
Yeah.
By launching the 5G, we are also ahead in terms of that. So
absolutely, yes.
Technology definitely Gambia is there at the forefront.
True.
Like Balda will say, we innovate.
Others follow.
Always. So Barrow impressed with the OIC road projects. The last time he went there, he wasn't really impressed. To quote in quote, he said, "I was disappointed." But this time around, we are glad that he is happy or impressed with the work that has been done so far. as far as the OIC.
Once completed,
Yeah.
definitely it will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
I don't know those of you who drive, if you've driven on that road and you see, you know, the quality and the standard, you know, you will be impressed, you know. And plus there are other side roads. The road leading to my home in Woolinkama area also is coming. This morning I drove there. It's smooth and really lovely. So I think the dividend is being seen in terms of the emphasis. I know there has been a lot of frustration. The work has been slow. People are talking. But then I see a lot of projects being implemented. If they come to fruition, I think definitely we can only say bravo.
Yes.
Balde, the other one is government to recover $1.4 billion tax arrears.
From whom?
Well, they didn't mention from who or from which institutions, but also we know that for a fact that most of these state-owned enterprises are really owing.
Yeah, some of them are being subsidized and they are not efficient at all. And I think the government does recognize that. That is why they created this new task force, or I don't know, is commission, so to speak, that will have that oversight in terms of looking at their performances. I think going forward, the emphasis is about performance. Where institutions are failing and costing taxpayers money, I think they ought to be looked at if they need to be, you know, sold to the private sector so that they can demonstrate.
Yeah, I'm also seeing residents of Bundung want Barrow to address water, roads, and graveyard problems.
He did that yesterday. From what I heard, he said they already had a big borehole, and in the next 2 weeks he was assured that they will be connected to that, which will serve that. So we hope Bundung people, you know, circumstances will be alleviated very soon, hopefully. So
Yeah, they are the people that had the unique way of really protesting.
With their buckets.
With their buckets.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. It's good sometimes for people to voice out their frustration, because those are the ways that they will hold government to accountability so that they can perform. Because the government also, if not challenged and then held to accountability, they would tend to be, you know, laid back and relaxed. So it's within the democratic, you know, context that people have that right also to exercise it sometimes in an organized way, you know, non-violent, and then protest so that the government will know, because government are public trustees that hold the public funds. So people are entitled to ask where those funds are and how they should serve them. So it is within their rights, and that was very good. And it did call attention of the government, and that is why they are doing what they have done.
Absolutely. It just goes to show that you don't need to be violent in order to get what you want from the central government. But these people just came, you know, out, these ladies with their buckets, and then they were protesting, and the message was out there, and you know, they were able to get their problem solved. So it's not always violence. It's always good that people to really come out amicably and then solve issues rather than engaging themselves into violence and all sort of things. The other one, Balde, GGC vows to buy all available groundnuts.
Oh yeah, they already have the backing, I think, with the support of the government and the private sector, you know, and I am sure that is assured they would be paid now, you know, as they come and buy. So that, I think, is already a known thing, that the capacity is already built, the monies are available. So as you bring your groundnut, they don't give you as they used to before. They used to give you what they call a note. It's a sum of a note, promissory note that you will have to bring back to get your money, and it used to take forever. Very frustrating. That is correct.
I mean, I think for the past, years, they've been paying people on the spot. I can remember like 10, 15 years ago, my grandfather struggled to go and get his money from the ground. But now it's a different thing. You go, they pay you. I can remember there was a time they pay you, in fact, with your Q money, if you have an account. So it's very significant.
Understand that, Balde?
Yes.
My Fati says appointment of executive coordinators constitutional.
It's constitutional.
Yes, it's constitutional.
Well, there are for and against in terms of this, but unless it is tested in the courts, one can always take one position or the other. Some are saying it's constitutional, some are saying it's not constitutional. But these are legal arguments that can be settled if anybody take it. But as long as it's being done, it's operational until it is challenged and the courts have taken a final decision as to the legality or illegality of it.
Absolutely.
Better
Balde, do we
learning
still
outcome.
have
Germany's final deputation flight to land in the Gambia next week. Yeah. It doesn't go down well with many people living in the country, especially those that have relatives of, family members that are in Germany and about to be deported to back to the Gambia.
It's not even good for Gambia, because if you look at the remittances this year, it's more than 600 million. That is what the diasporans are sending into the economy. So it's a huge chunk. So these people, they send more than what we have in terms of aid and other aspects. So the more you have your people outside hustling, the better for that country, especially with remittances. Gambia has been benefiting a lot from what the diaspora. They work very hard and they take care of their people and also their projects in the Gambia.
True.
So it's impacting in every aspect.
Yeah, we cannot rule out, the fact that remittances is what most people are depending on in the Gambia. Like you said, if you look at the statistics, the amount of remittances that comes to the Gambia, the past years when it was calculated, in fact, it was more than more than even the aids that comes to the Gambia.
Yeah, it's more than all the aids that are combined, that are coming to the Gambia. That goes to shows that, how much Gambian diaspora is really doing or contributing towards the socio-economic development of this country. So getting them to be deported, like Mr. Ade will always say, you can't force someone to stay in somebody's country illegally, in as much as we don't also encourage that. But it's important for the authorities to take relevant measures and steps to ensure that these people who are coming back home to be reintegrated into society, to help them in terms of employment opportunities and all of that, because they are traumatized. Some of them were there for so many years and they already adopted the system there. So just to wake up one morning and see them deported back to their countries, some of them with nothing, it's really heartbreaking and it's traumatizing. So in as much as people are advised to, obtain or travel to other countries legally, it is also important or imperative on the government also to take measures and know that these are our citizens and their well-being and welfare is very, very important. We can't just deport people because, Germany wants them to be back to their country, but without putting any measures in place to ensure that they are reintegrated and they have them.
But when you look at how they deport people back to the country, I think there are people too that they look into. They'll check into your background. They look at how responsible the person is. If you get all what is required too, I don't think they would deport you for, in any way.
No, I don't think that's the case, Balde.
Regularization is not easy in Europe these days, but nonetheless, there are laws in every country and they will have to ensure that people that live within there, especially now, there is a lot of populism in terms of the right-wing agenda in Europe. If you look at recently Holland, they just have a right-wing government. And if you look at France, Jean-Marie Le Pen and the others, they make inroads in terms of their elections. And there are lots of right-wing governments that are anti-immigrant. So they force this agenda so that any government, if you listen to Donald Trump recently, he was saying day one of his presidency, he will close all the borders of the U.S. So there is a challenge. And this north-south, migration is a challenge to both the West and us. We do have brain drain, we have youth drain, and they also deal with a lot of issues. Their economies are not performing, and they feel that some of the immigrants will come and take over their jobs. So there are lots of issues that ought to be addressed. But nonetheless, we have to, like I said, support the youth that are here. They are creating centers, vocational training. Let them also not be frustrated to the extent of, being suicidal or mental and all that. If you come back home, try and adapt and adjust and do something meaningful. People are making it here, and there is a lot, especially now. We were talking about resources just a while ago that we don't have. We have a lot. The farming is here. If we mechanize farming, yesterday the president was talking about some trawlers or boats that they intend to purchase to train the youth. So there are lots of things that government can come in with in terms of policies and programs to address these things, and I hope they look into it with seriousness.
I was thinking about it, but I think I'll need to back down. Presidential nomination fee to hit 1 million.
that's
I'm
good.
not contesting anymore.
No, it has to be a serious thing. Not every Tom,
Yeah.
Dick, and Harry should come. I know I used to advocate that anybody who want to contest, but there has to be, you know, a threshold for these things so that serious people can, you know, come forward rather than anybody just wanting. Like if you look at Senegal, how many thousands want to contest, you know, but there have to be a filtering system.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember during Jammeh's time, it was up to 1 million. But at some point, it was changed from 1 million to this amount, the current amount. But now it is moving again to 1 million. I think
Jammeh's machinations were always suspect, and I was among the advocates that at the time say, no, this is too much. I was even on record, went to BBC and spoke about it at the time and said, no, this is just a scheme that he's trying to use to block, because the opposition also do not have sufficient funds at the time, you know, to be able to garner that. So were issues, but now I think they ought to look at it with more seriousness.
True.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ka, for reviewing the stories with us. It's the end of the
newspaper review.
It's the end of the week for us for this morning.
Month.
Yes. I know we will be coming back here, inshallah, next week again to do this thing, to do the same thing with you, Mr. Ka.
I hope others will be available. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. So, viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
Kiusel moy suñu boss. Kiusel moy suñu boss. Kiusel moy suñu boss. Suru. Go, ebe dawa full network suda tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network jumala keta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam ona manke QCell. Hani be wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell sunyu boss. Nyo finjeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus, and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele QCell. Ko fasun tawa buka busi QCell. Itella moldi milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meda lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. Connection be bambandi QCell sunyu boss. QCell most innovative QCell sunyu boss.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fix internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia.
Welcome back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's take a look at the other segment of the program. I mean, 16 days of activism. You know,
Against sexual and gender-based
against
violence.
sexual and gender-based violence. Yes, I mean, I think it's important. Everybody should be part of this.
Absolutely.
This should be a center of discussion, and we need to elaborate on this more. Julia, you see, I'm struggling with my running order. Can you please take us through? I mean, I don't know why is it misbehaving
Okay,
today.
we have the Bajan representative here, and she's the youngest Bajan, mashallah. And Aisha and her team have been doing so well over the years to ensure that we have more Bajans here. And I also want to be part of these Bajans.
Oh, the Bajan crew.
Yeah, Aisha needs no introduction, of course. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Lina, I would have preferred new deaf local language.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, a little bit.
We can just mix
and
it.
blend.
I mean,
Mix and blend,
yeah.
You know, so it's important. First of all, let's start with the name again.
Elsie.
Elsie.
I don't want to pronounce it wrong.
It's Elsie.
So you are welcome. Please take us through what does this really mean, the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence.
16 days of activism basically is a time and season whereby we create massive awareness against violence against women and girls faced in the communities, in the workplaces, basically in the day-to-day life. So in this time of season from November 25th to the 10th of December, organizations, human rights organizations as well, come out in numbers to fight against, to speak against violence against women and girls. Yeah.
Why the need for this time in December? I mean, violence against young girls and women, it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we've been hearing things like this for a very long time. Why only this time?
I think in every situation, there's a time that it is important that we set aside specifically dates just for a particular situation. And I believe this is the perfect moment because from the 25th November is basically a day whereby it's a day against violence against women. And 10th December is a day recognized as International Day for Human Rights. Yeah. So these are days that they say, okay, from the beginning, I believe UN was looking at it, said from the beginning of a day to fight against violence against women to the day of human rights, we can look intensively, these are 16 days in between, we can look intensively to advocate, to create awareness against these things. And because women's rights are basically human rights, so it is important that people are aware of the plight of women in societies.
It's more like amplifying voices during the,
exactly.
It's not a particular time, but at least to amplify and make more noise and actually assess what we have been doing during the year.
Yeah, so since I mean, this activism, I know we've been doing it for many years. Right. You know, I don't want to remove myself from this. Otherwise, I would be in damn trouble. Because this thing, we all have to put hands together. I mean, what improvement have you seen so far?
Basically, good morning again to the viewers. The improvement we have seen is that people are getting aware. And actually, people were aware. But then now they are ready to speak out. Because from our perspective at Paradise Foundation, we have seen the number of calls from the 1313 have increased, and we have also seen people reaching out to the Bajans. So that means that people are aware and are now ready to address some of these challenges. However, the theme this year is invest more in prevention of gender-based violence against women and girls. The reason why, again, it's part of the 16 days activism is to actually consolidate our gains and look at where the gaps are and try to fill the gaps. We've seen that the investment on GBV is dwindling. It's a bit low, especially service delivery areas. We are creating awareness. People are coming out. So what's next? So we have to put services in place. We have to put stuff to address their needs and the challenges. And that is what we actually advocating for and actually speaking up, so speaking out, so that donors and governments can invest more in the prevention of GBV.
So as you know, 16 days marking, as part of events marking 16 days of activism, your organization, or which is the PF initiative, you know, under the Ask Bajan initiative, also launched advocacy songs in collaboration with UNDP, you know. why was it really necessary? I know that you've been doing a lot of advocacy over the years, but this time around you decided to shift from the normal advocacy to introduction of songs. Why do you think that was really necessary?
Yes, we all know the power of music and the power of songs in our culture. So we thought about creating songs that will go beyond the 16 days that we just said. You talked about why just 16 days. The fight goes beyond the 16 days. And we have 3 songs, one of them promoting the helpline where people can have access to talk to someone. And we have the Bajans in the community. Those who don't want to use the phone can reach out and talk one-to-one to the Bajans in their community. And the 3rd song by our Blink is more of survivors. Again, we talked about the services that are in place. How can we strengthen the individual? How can they help them heal? Because you cannot go on with the trauma for life. We want people to heal because it's part of society. It affects our outcome and our outputs in society. So the healing process is very important. And that is why we created these songs that will go beyond the 16 days as well.
Well, I mean, I hope you are not focusing on the scorpion and forgetting the snake. The reason why I said that is when you gather women together, I think the men should be involved.
Yes.
Because men and women live together, you understand? And most of this gender-based violence, I mean, is directed from the man to the woman.
Right.
You understand? So, I mean, I hope you are echoing this into men's ears as well.
Yes, if you say gender, gender means men and both men and women. But we always focus on the women because the women are more vulnerable.
True.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's actually on record, it's women are more vulnerable. However, we also target men. In fact, one of our songs, the opening song, it was a man that was crying. Why we did that? To show that men too are vulnerable.
No, we cry sometimes.
Yes, and men should
sometimes
cry.
We are abused.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we actually have taken note of that, and we recognize that. In fact, most of our callers sometimes are men reporting incidents happening to their sisters or friends. So definitely we cannot win this fight without the men.
So is there any point whereby, this will sound funny, is there any point whereby a man is abused? I mean, you know, and you know, you find it very interesting to follow that case.
Yes, we have, and the issue is that, you see, already when you talk about men being abused, you're smiling, because the thing is, that's the stigma already, because we laugh at it, we make fun, so it is very difficult.
People think
for
women, we shouldn't cry.
Exactly.
We shouldn't go through pain.
Exactly.
And we feel pain sometimes.
But it's good to feel pain, so that you can, it's good to feel it and release it, because there's one thing feeling it and keeping it internal, but crying it out to make sure that it's, you see it and you actually getting it out of your system. And we encourage all genders to do that, because when you come in touch with your emotions, that's when you can relate with others. That is why some men who are like really emotional and angry hit other people, and especially women. They don't go hitting men, they go hitting women because they're more vulnerable. So we feel that men too have to release that energy. And recently, I've seen the NGBV has launched He for She, and they're actually targeting young boys and young men to actually create more awareness amongst them. So it's a good program.
So our Ask Bajan, the other day when Bajan Dia was saying, she was saying that the fact that lots of these Bagwe boys and girls are embarking on this journey because of the violence that are perpetuated to their mothers, you know, at home. You know, I felt emotional at some point, because I think the issue of Bagwe, it's beyond just, you know, the economic hardship that people are going in the country, but also it goes to show that, you know, some of these violence, gender-based violence, it's beyond just, you know, the physical, the emotional and all of that, but it can contribute so much to society. It can, you know, impact a lot when it comes to, you know, how people really react, because you can't just wait and see every day your mom is being, you know, abused and violated, and you're not doing anything about that.
Exactly.
So I think this really needs concerted efforts. So what are you doing in that regard, in terms of advocacy, to also, you know, especially the central government, when they are talking of Bagwe, they don't really mention gender-based violence as part of, you know, the reasons why young people are embarking on this journey.
I think one of the main interventions when it comes to this is education. Education really matters about to unlearn certain toxic habits, to relearn and to learn. We had a radio show a few weeks back, and one of the statement that I made was there was a situation, a scenario, whereby this young man learned how to treat a woman, basically his wife, by what he has seen at the home. The father usually beat the mother, always. He keeps on doing it until they're grown up. And so he also grew up into those kind of toxic behaviors and started beating the wife. And everybody was like, jabar bi, bàyyi sa jëkkër. All right? So man suma jabar duma bàyyi because I grew up seeing my mom being beaten by my dad. And my mother never left my dad. And that for him, that is love. Yeah. So you see, that's what he has been groomed into, to know what love is about. That when your wife misbehaves, you can beat her. So in that manner, also, it is important that we educate these young boys about what gender-based violence is, what love is all about, what respect is about. You know, when we do that, we are unlearning certain things that they have already known about, which are not right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's localize this thing quickly. We have few minutes to go. Mba nekulentam the focus rek, you know, the advocate at some point come jigeni soxna yi ñu faté tam sen responsibility yu ñu wara def, because dafa am tam li nga xamné warugal la de, because bul am the backing of gender based advocates to an extent that, you know, nga indi yeneen yi ci sa sey bi loolu have any problem.
Wow, question. How I understand where you're coming from. Wante lolu taxu ñoo jog. Xam nga sey ñaar ñu bëggante ñoo ñëw sey. Te soo gisee ñu gën a taxawal bàjjani loolu mooy sax seen lifin naka priority bu njëkka waxtaan si yëfi sëy ñëpp xam nañ ne bàjjan moo daan dox yëfi sëy so tey suñ gisee jafe-jafe si sëy yi dañ dee bàjjani dañ dee mun a deelu si ñëw indi déem ba pare waxtaan ak xale jigéen yi dañ dee ñaari boor yëpp lañ dee waxtaanal violence soo gisee mu start am na lu ko lal so bu ñëwee waxtaan foog ñu dem to the root cause ñu understand lan la communication bi ndax dépense bi la ndax jikko yi la comme nu ko Elsie waxee nuñ ko yaree la yaa ngee wax ne góor yi tam dañ dee sofa léegi violence bi du dee starté si jigéen góor bi léegi jigéen bàyyi door dara ñun jigéen ñi léegi ñu xaste léegi ñu wax ju ñaaw o gis kenn am dara bugga ko loolu mun naa start di indi violence wante loolu tamit taxut nit war laa dóor ba gaañ la
absolutely
su fekkee ne mënuloo ko moo tax dañ war a la ñuy waxtaan communication lañ war a jàngal ñu naka la ñoo doxalee si biir kër yi te loolu foog naa ne ndaw ñi gën war nañ see gën a taxaw
am na solo waaye comme xaste wax yu sew li fi loolu man loolu dama ko xam naa ne loolu is jigéen su meree tuuti yooyu moom is part of her loolu I think
wante léegi miinu ko sax
waaw ñun dañ ko war a we should get used to those things okay
not used to boobu tamit sax is a form of violence xam nga lu nekk dafa war a am fu mu war a em su fekkee ne xaste bi tamit ëpp na yow góor gi mun na la gaañ yow ngay dundee naxar boo xam ne di doxee naxar boo xam ne mun ngaa tax nga gaañ keneen oo moom loolu tamit warut
waaw jërë ngeen jëf time bi jeex na bëggoon nañoo am at least bu nekkee 1 hour la sax mun a waxtaan di waaye 1313 bi mu ngi active
ak 1919
under the Ministry of Gender
1919 okay thank you very much
199
199
okay for coming 1313 képp ku nga xam ne am nga any issue dinañ la mun ngaa call number yooyu so now we will head straight to the click segment. Viewers, that's the last segment of the program, so we'll be right back.
Merkumba no Merkumba sa boy bi danu na si love suma diganteg yalla dematinen Merkumba tay maa ngi nop yoo xam ne ni maa ngi nop yoo xam ne ni maa ngi si mbëggal bu métti boo xam ne ni suma diganteg yàlla Merkumba waxal ma gaay ne ku ñaaka démba mun naa am ëllëg ñaaka suma ndey ku am démba mun naa ñaaka ëllëg na gaay delloo seen xel si yàlla suma diganteg yàlla Merkumba maa ngi si mbëggal bu métti suma cekundi suma diganteg yàlla buur la ñu ne sa boy bi baadoola la ñu ne poosam bi naysut xale bi mu ne suma yoon si poos bu naay suma diganteg yàlla bébi ga waxala Merkumba
Nobatina.
Suma digante yàlla nga ne lan
Nobatina.
Suma cekundi Merkumba sa boy bi nobatina ma ne ko dematinen terereen suma digganteeg yàlla Mère Kumba yàlla rek a fi nekk suma ci kundi Mère Kumba waxal ma borom kër yi ne luwaaskat yi ay doomi aadama leen suma digganteeg yàlla nit ki lum luwaas sa kër bul musa foog ne du doomi aadama nit ki lum luwaas sa kër bul musa foog ne yow yaa ko gën suma ci kundi yàlla bur la tey luwaaskat bi mun naa doon luwaaskat mu nekk borom kër suma ci kundi yow tey mun ngaa doon borom kër ëllëg nga nekk luwaaskat suma digganteeg yàlla Mère Kumba bàyyee neen borom kër yu dee tëj seen bunti kër yi 10 o'clock bàyyee neen gars yi ñaay bi suma digganteeg yàlla bàyyee neen gars yi seen bunti weñ yi bàyyee neen gars yi seen bunti kër yi korget yi suma digganteeg yàlla Mère Kumba fu mu nekk nii Mère Kumba ñun ñu ngi si xoolal ñun si taag yi fu mu nekk da ngaa ñëw laal suma ci kundi xoolal sa turu ñëw nga dóor ko teg mu giriin nga ubbi suma digganteeg yàlla lii moo yomba bàyyi neen ay koŋ-koŋ ay kool doo mun a dem poti sa guddi suma digganteeg yàlla Mère Kumba soo buggee dem ci li guddi sa yaa ngi calculer soo ñëwee da ngaa ñaay te léegoo léegi sa sooy ñaay soo gaawtee ñu jaawale laa sàccakat léegi Mère Kumba sa boy bi demati na suma digganteeg yàlla di ngeen ko yëg fu mu nekk ñu ngi si xoolal ñu ngi si taagi Mère Kumba taj mu ne taj nga hicca Mère Kumba ñu ngi si bunti seetu yi da ngaa gis sa boppa suma digganteeg yàlla taag bi taj demati na suma digganteeg yàlla fii yàlla rek a fi nekk suma kii kunti
We are back. This is QTV this morning. Mère Kumba time boobu néebo si ñun suñ demee seetaan télé si biti lañ dee taxaw ñu yurnu waaye léegi néebo ñun lañ dee seetaan si télé yi tay néebo ñun ñoo leen dee faj. So we have just
demal fële xamoon naa ne di nga def bi demal fële kay. Mère Kumba dama door sa boy bi de
wala o ñef danga nu wone baye ndoy bi ele so we have my brother Churchill Balde
right here borom drib bu soor bi Mère Kumba waa sa gay na sa boy bi sanse na waaw ba pare maa sa doom bi ñoo fi nekk coins
drib loo dara
waaw tey woonu gay gumu ñoon waaye léegi gis nga fuñ toll waaw léegi ñu ngi fii ne ñu ñoo seetaan live on TV it's a man right here my boy ma bàyyi la nga nuyu sa fans yi xam nga bala ñoo kick on with the interview.
waaw ma ne Mère Kumba waxal ma gaay ne ñu ngi QTV suma digganteeg yàlla Mère Kumba sa boy bi amoon na time rajo sa duñ ko daan play waaye tey boy yi naawati neen suma digganteeg yàlla rek a fi nekka waaw ñu ngi QTV di nuyu Gambia bi di nuyu everybody anywhere si world bi di la wax ne ñu ngi QTV Mère Kumba na ko dikkandoor yëpp yëg
ñëpp a ko war a yëg suma ciiku nit suma diggante yàlla anyway so ñu bàyyi la right now xam nga yaa ngi jógee woon out ñëw understand what I mean so how does it feel coming back home
waaw sant yàlla bu bari rek yeah there was a time ñun moom ku ñu waxoon yi duñ ko gëm you know like duñ la believe sax waaye tey ñu ngi mun a tukki xam nga rek promise on maire tamit ne duñ fa yaaga waaw dañoo dem ñu ñëwaat ñun best friend yi maire bi leen you know like Mère Kumba like ñun mama's boy leen xam nga waaw so ñu dem xam nga rek kirti karta less than 1 year ñu ne waa ba ñu ñëwaat ziyaare maire bi ziyaare Gambia tamit at the same time tamit celebrate tamit loo xam ne tamit I think it's a win for Gambia xam nga loolu laa explain because right now Mère Kumba ñu ngi intercontinental ñu ngi global suma
la ko waxee so how does it feel because time boo fi nekkoon yaa ngi def sa videos understand yaa ngi dem viral so how does it feel boo nekkoon fële ak fii comme naka la mel production bi noonu
waaw like fële ne le I have to adopt tamit ma try pour créer loo xam ne ni personnalité time ma nekkee fii we have a Skibo entertainment label bu ma doon liggéeyal so we have a whole team dañoo set up teg suñ campé versatile session bi daan set up teg suñ lu xew Gambia news living bi ak stuff like that so boy ñu ngi fa dañ dee def everything so dañ daan ut locations waaw di dóor suñ versatile sessions comedy boo xam ne dafa am education motivation and stuff like that so wat bu ma demee moo tukkee amatuloo loolu you know yeah ba pare yaa ngi tukki wuloo because of comedy tamit da nga tukki pour dem hustle
okay
xam nga rek pour make changes and stuff like that so ma demee ma ne okay léegi now I have to create because léegi man comedian la already the passion is there ñun suñu nature la sax waaw xam nga lu ma explain yeah so ma ne bii bàyyi ma try pour xalaat dara so man suma boy yi ñu link xalaat ne ok nañ def loo xam ne ñun ñu create loo xam ne Gambian la xam nga so si leen def nii defaat nii rek waaw xalaat dara nii ñu try ko first time boobu fekk maa ngi dem Paris holidays dem seedi suma sister so ñu ne ok Eiffel Tower bi nañ ko start fii nii xam nga so ñu dóor ko waaw mère Kumba sa boy yaa ngi Paris xam nga demati neen terere so video bi hit you know mu dem viral so ñu keep ko like that di dóor
so léegi yow how do you feel impact bu mu make in the society comme everybody di ko use yow boo ko doon def lii nga si séntu woon or da nga ko just def out of comme sa free will
like
feeling ne pour yow kenn but right now everybody ñu ngi ko use
to be honest
séntu woon nga loolu noonu
séntu woon la to be honest I was just making it for comedy like to be honest waaye after dafa ëpp loolu sax
loolu laa gis everybody is using
after dafa ëpp loolu because after see you know people on the back way imagine ñu ngi la call or di la text online di la wax ne bro ñu demoon ne ba di give up but yow yaa ñëw motivé understand nga waaw so mu tax man like baadoxal lay nii ñu mel ñoo xam ne man ñoom ñoo bokk benn catégorie like aw ma seen fay you know because like ñooñu xam nga ñu ngi si yoon mu ngi métti still yaa ngi seetaan video coins jolof mu ngi métti still yaa ngi mun a jënd crédit still toon ko to internet duga online nga ne kan ngay seetaan coins so si la realize ne ok lii waruñ koo base rek si comédie kese da si war a base information about so si la standard jël comédie bi dafa series mu nekk suma story léegi di explain negative positive jógee si luwaas dem si leen
waaw
so léegi lu ngay war a def mooy dañ war a xam ñoo xam ne amaguñ opportunity pour xam pour kuy Mère Kumba
waaw
bàyyi ñu woon ngay kuy Mère Kumba let's take a look of this video and we'll be right back
yónni suma boy yi ñu war la faa fekka waaw waay dëj yi duñ jee ngénte yi duñ jee taka yi duñ jee Mère Kumba doo mën a jeexal yëpp loolu nga dee wax rek naaj baa ngi tàng 35 degrees 35 maa ngi seet naaj bi weather forecast bi maa ngi ko seet xam nga ñun waaw ndax yaa ngi si taxi demal interview bi dafa important gars yi interview bi dafa over important so gars yi la fa soxla ñoom dinañ la jëli temps naka fii sa toon table yow jëlal temps tri nga dem rek ñoom dinañ ko fay
Mère Kumba le président wa Mère Kumba excellent Malako Mère Kumba excellent asalaamaaleykum Mère Kumba ñu ngi lay nuyu waaw ñu ngi nii ñu si jàmm waaw ñu ngi si jàmm bu baax a baax
waaw ma ne suma digganteeg yàlla suma ceeko di ma ne tey moom duñ yuuxu Mère Kumba ndig de Mère Kumba ngi toog waaw ñu doon laajte Mère Kumba ñu bëggoon a xam Mère Kumba ñu doon share suñ vidéo yi ñu si doon jàngee ñu si doon reetaan ñu si doon jëlee lu bare waaw soo tey dinañ xam ne kan mooy Mère Kumba Mère Kumba lan la doon si coins lan moo tax suma every vidéo ma nekk di use Mère Kumba soo kii mooy Mère Kumba tey den ñëw surprise ko ak di Skibo entertainment ak family bi yëpp ñëw understand nga surprise ko bëggee ko understand nga because xam naa ne nu ma ko namee moom tamit noonu la man namee waaw so kan mooy Mère Kumba Mère Kumba mooy yaayi coins di yaayi boy di yaayi ñëpp understand nga waaw nekka nag baadoo la nekka léetakat waaw because noonu lañ ko daan ooyee gars yi daan siidee oo turam bi suma diggante yàlla di ñu ooyee léetakat bi aboli wala expliqué la nii am benn cabinet salle am ay 8 doom yi yar doomam yëpp amuñ courant amuñ prix lal sax amuñ ko.
lii dafa wax emotional man bu ma gisee lii man tamit suma xel suma mère bi la ma may la dem straight understand ma min xam ku nekk yaayam lu moo dunda to make sure ne kër mu ngi jàkk xam nga man suma time ndoor ma la woowee fende man I thought I was rich man dama foog ne dama rich fekk man suma yaay xam nga lu ma min lu moo prouver ak daal bu koo jàppale man lu ma gis ma moromi rek ma dem si ma ne ko ne dama ko bugga understand nga feel ni ne dañ rich fekk demewul fa noonu moom dafa make sure ne everything mu fata ko yow sa nit si nga am ko xam nga so this is very emotional and comme yow ñu laa jaajëfal nga dem ba nga tollu fii ne understand ma min nga appreciate sa moom di ko delloo njukkal so how does she feel about this?
Yeah, excited over happy sir. You know, like ba pare moom dafa yaaga gom doomam you know, like ñoo daan Charlie time do understand nga léegi you get bullied nga ñëw si kër bi di nga yaa ngi jotee kenn crimes in bed or stuff like that because ñu ngi tuutil sa family or sa yaay yéen a tur yi amul wala expect but ñun anytime su ñëwoon kër daf ñu dee wax ne comme dina baax muñ leen rek understand téye leen seen studies yi jàngal leen rek yéen a mun a make changes yi xam nga because mère yi moom demul school waaye try na ñun ñëpp waaw ñu dem school et doomam ñëpp la dugal school dugal ñu daara amul wala explain so moom gis na ko yaaga na koo gis you know ne one day xam nga rek dina am doomam yu ko teral stuff like that
so léegi balaa ñëw wrap up ñu dem si sa challenge soo nekk di face right now because yaa ma doon wax ne am nga right now am na lu la naxari so loolu laa boon nga leeral rek
so man basically dafa am yenn words sax du ma ko bëgg a use you know but Gambia sometimes daf la dee discourage you know like especially I'm talking about talent muy football muy artist being a comedian wala rapper or anything because the issue is I think right now this Mère Kumba is a win for Gambia.
True, it is.
Understand nga ñun sa man bu ma ñëwee Gambia sa laa gën a realize how big this is. Understand nga so foogoon naa ne comme people yoo xam ne they are so professional ñu ngi organize show yoo xam ne ñu ngi happen comme ñu ngi koo teglante te they are very professional te ñun ñoom leen yaakaar léegi yow coin soo ko mënutee fay si artistry work am si creativity am as a comedian fooy fayee coins. Xam nga so Gambia we need to work on that. Understand guys? Then what about the one okay, we always have to go on war. Okay, and that coins register nga Mère Kumba bi. Is Mère Kumba a brand? Na dem nga Ministry of Arts and Culture. I did all of that. Man I am small people. Why tay nice shoot Gambian the organized show yam bo xamne mu ngi happen every year. Everybody knows it. Understand nga? Nga tok rek jël Mère Kumba bi nga def ko sa show bi tudé ko sa flyer bi. Even pour nga call coins sa out of respect sa nga ne ko ni ne okay. Coins sa creativity bi man dama ko bëgg use tudé ko suma show for this year.
Acknowledgement is key,
waaw nit yaa ngi ko jël ñu ngi jël suñu Mère Kumba bi gaa ngi defar ay products understand nga nit yaa ngi jël suñu Mère Kumba bi di organise ay shows di ko tuddee seen ay lot of stuffs understand te ñun sax nekku ne xaalis bi leen jiital sax but still tamit deserve neen xaalis bi tamit because xam nga leega nit tamit si comedy bi liggéey 4 years yaa ngi liggéey annulo so the only way coins lu mun a aan mooy creativity am fee ko comme yow tey li nga liggéey nii this is your talent yow fu mu nekk nii QTV si lii leen laa fay right driver bi si driving leen ko fay right so comedian bi tamit soo ko fay te si creativity am kon si lan nga ko fay.
waaw man I feel na tamit da nga ko war a register as a brand.
we did that
comme mu nekk a brand itself.
we did that
nga xam ne keneen ak keneen su ko use na xam ne lii bu jàmbur la.
non loolu laa nekk di explain la like we did that. waaye dama laa explain al ne nii duñ pour ñu àgga court maay dem di defar ay vidéo di jël sa flyer di ko cancel ñuy dem di woo we are all Gambians léegi why not nga win ma win.
ok
fi mu nekk yóbboo ko dama lose nga
fi mu nekk ne fanaa sa message bi code àgg na across gars yi ñu tax ngay wax lii xam naa ne fi mu nekk ne lii.
waaw
gars yi dinañ ci jàngal lu bëri waaw so fi mu nekk ne suñu time ñu ma wax ne jeena almost so ma acknowledge suma drip bi Mère Kumba sa boy bi dafa sanse
waaw yaa ngi drip Mère Kumba
te suma drip moom all the time suma boy bi moo si dee jàppa Brain Official hit him up on 399 8237 399 8237 Mère Kumba sa boy bi sense
Mère Kumba time boobu soo demee xew si gannaaw nga dee toog waaye tey Adama Barrow mu ngay wax Mère Kumba waaw so jërë ngeen jëf Julde this is all we have Julde waxal Mère Kumba
waxal Mère Kumba sa doom bi tekki na
all right thank you very much viewers this is all we have that's the end of the program for this week. We thank all our camera crews and all the production and our producer, our director Ali Jallo. Have a wonderful day.